Hey, good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. I'm your host. North Georgia's only live, only one out there. Good morning from the office. BKP here. How is everybody today? Now, we have a whole list of things we're going to try to go over today. We got a lot to cover within a couple hours here. Okay, we've been talking about transgender bathrooms for a week. We've been talking about that for a week. There's a lot, for a long time. I'm sorry, I just have to pause when I say we've been talking about transgender bathrooms. I have a guest coming in here from the Stewards of Children Foundation. I think I got that right, huh? Lonnie, Stewards of Children. And it's Steve Fallon. Steve Fallon will be in here at 8:30. We're going to be talking about the impact of child sexual abuse. That's right. We're going to be talking about prevention, the impact, what it takes to protect our children, the 5 steps: learn the facts, minimize opportunity, talk about it, recognize the signs, react responsibly. So we're going to talk about that with Steve Fallon, Stewards of Children, here at 8:30.
And we've been watching a video, an intro video to this all week. They've been catching it right at the end of the Good Morning from the Office, and you're going to get a chance to see that one more time right before he comes in.
Yes, we will do an intro video. And Lonnie's right. We will do an intro video to our interview with Mr. Fallon before 8:30 this morning, but he'll be in here at 8:30, so we look forward to that. Now, we have several things we told you on Facebook that we're going to keep up with today. And let me tell you what we're going to do, and we may not get everything done today. So this week into next week, next Tuesday, the races that we are going to focus on, there's a lot of them, but we picked out a couple that we feel the voters need as much information as possible that we're going to try to get to you. But we've picked out the Fannin County Sheriff's race, the Gilmer Probate Judge race, the 51st Georgia State Senate race, the 9th Congressional race, district race, the Georgia U.S. Senate race. We've picked those out. We will probably talk about those more than any other race in the next several days leading up to Tuesday, the election. So those are the ones you'll want to tune in every day that we will be focusing on more about. Trying to bring you more information on these. That being said, Monday is candidate day here on Good Morning from the Office. It's going to be candidate day. And let me tell you what that means is these candidates, have they have gone to the barbecues, the forums, they've gone to the forums, the barbecues, the debates, the cookouts, you name it, they've done it, shaking hands, putting up their own signs, going to the Chamber of Commerce, meeting with Rotary, speaking anywhere they can. So Monday here on FetcherNews.com, Good Morning from the Office, we will do a 3-hour special. And in that special, we will give all the candidates in 3 particular races 15 minutes to ask for your vote. I will not be doing the hard, difficult interview questions. We have put no limits on the candidates of what they can say. They can say anything they would like, all right? So we're going to start with 9th Congressional District, Mike Skupine at 8:15 Monday morning. Move into Roger Fitzpatrick, Paul Brown, Doug Collins, and Bernie Fontaine. All the candidates have confirmed their time slot as of yesterday. The Collins campaign manager actually sent an apology for the late response. Obviously, everybody's busy, and they confirmed their time yesterday. So that will be the 5 candidates there for the 9th Congressional District Monday. Then we will move in to 51st District State Senate candidates, and Steve Gooch, Senator Steve Gooch, and then John Williamson. They will both have 15 minutes. They will be calling in. And then 7th District State Representative will round out the morning by Sam Snyder and Speaker David Ralston. We'll wrap up our show Monday. But those candidates will have 15 minutes. If you're trying to make up your mind, if you're undecided and you want a clear, you want to hear the candidates one more time and let them make a pitch for your vote, that will be Monday, our candidate special day. So, that being said, let's move to our next item of the day. We're going to get into this at 9 o'clock with George probably, but I'm your host, and I enjoy getting to come in here and say, you know what? If you have been watching this show, if you have been listening to this show, I said 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I said, you know, all the talk is about a contested convention for the Republicans. All the talk is about the Republicans not being able to unify. What will happen? Violence at Donald Trump's rallies. I said the real story is the Democrats and their convention in Philadelphia. It will be contested. I said that weeks ago, folks. I said the story that the Main Street, I came in here after the last primary that was hotly contested in the Republican primary, and I said to you, I said, the story that nobody is picking up is the Democrats. I said that weeks ago. You know I did out there if you're listening. I said the Democrats. Nobody's picking this story up. This will be the story. Will the Democrats unify? What will happen in Philadelphia? That will be the story. Nevada Democrats warned DNC about Bernie Sanders supporters having they're petulant for violence. Folks, I gotta quit getting home at 10:30. I have to stop getting home at 10:30 at night. Anyhow, if you read the headlines from out in Nevada, and the Democrats are warning the DNC about Bernie Sanders supporters, do a Google search and look at the riot gear and the riot teams prepared for Cleveland and the Republican convention. It may be Philadelphia and the Bernie Sanders supporters. Bernie said he's not stopping. He had 11,000 people. What was that in California last night? Now, Hillary needed to stop the bleeding. No pun intended. You know, if Donald Trump says stop the bleeding, then, you know, there's 19 media sources to discuss what he meant by that. So Hillary tried to stop campaigns trying to stop the bleeding by wanting the media to put out a big Hillary won Kentucky. They want to turn the page. But you know, if you were actually calling the race, it would be like a horse race, and Hillary's in the backstretch. Somebody's going to send me the Hillary cartoon with Hillary's face on a horse coming around the backstretch. I can see it now. But Hillary's on the backstretch, and it's a photo finish in Kentucky. What do they got, 1,000 votes between the two? And Hillary won. Oh my God, she won in Kentucky. That's the big news this morning. Hillary won in Kentucky. But let me tell you something. Kentucky Derby, Hillary by a nose. Don't burn it all down, Sanders. Sanders is not going to stop. Now, there's two things that people don't take consideration into a political party and a convention. There's your nominee. There's your rules committee. There's your platform committee. And there's the direction the DNC wants to go. You see, that nominee, they don't want that nominee to go rogue. They want that nominee to leave the convention, their convention, and stay on the direction that that they chart for them throughout the campaign. Well, not only is Hillary feeling the burn, but Bernie Sanders and his people will have a seat at the table, a large seat at the table at the Democrat convention. I'm just saying. Hillary's at the doctor's this morning. Doctor, I feel the burn. Well, and it's not just because, one of those strip clubs that Bill visited. Telling you, just saying. Hillary, they're stressing out. Now, I'm going to move on to a comment concerning the Fannin Sheriff's race. I've got a guest coming in at 8:30. We do want to talk about the transgender bathroom situation and have this guest explain some things concerning child abuse. But the Washington Post, y'all, don't relax, folks. The Washington Post, Trump's false claim that there's nothing to learn from his tax returns. Now, we have found that these reporters, there's been a whole team of reporters assigned to Donald Trump to find out if he made prank phone calls to find out 30 years ago. Now, let me tell you something. If you go back 30 years on Donald Trump, let's go back 30 years on Hillary Clinton. Let's put a team of reporters to try to find out who did not fuel up that jet that Ron Brown got on, who only put a half a tank of fuel in that plane that Ron Brown got on that crashed. Let's look into that. Not if Donald Trump made prank phone calls. So we're going to help you stay clear here when you get upset over the media and you get upset because you turn on the TV and they're asking whether Donald Trump said something derogatory to a woman, or Donald Trump made a prank phone call, or Donald Trump said something to, somebody that is a doorman at a building, whatever, because that's the stories that are going to come out. These are the same people, folks, that said that Marco Rubio got parking tickets and got one speeding ticket. These are the folks. We have Benghazi, Hillary does. Hillary has the Clinton Foundation out there. Hillary has the email scandal. Oh, Hillary's list goes on and on and on. Okay? So don't get caught up in the media, what they do. Do not get caught up in it. I promise you, folks. Now, we have found, I told you yesterday, Blue Ridge Police Chief Johnny Searcy would not take a polygraph in a GBI investigation. Now, I've gotten all the emails, and I've gotten the text messages, and I've gotten the snide little remarks that I went back to 2005 and dug something up. How could I do that? Desperation. Well, folks, I do not and will not do anything to manipulate an election. Won't happen here. But what I will do is bring citizens much needed information for you to make a decision. Okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you how long I had that GBI report. I am going to tell you I read it thoroughly, no exaggeration, probably 10 times. I went through days to make sure it was news, to tell myself. I went through days of just pondering whether it was information the citizens needed before I released that. Now, I'm going to tell you now that the citizens of Fannin County need to know the background on this police chief that wants to be their sheriff. I'm going to highlight two things this morning. Now, we found, if you have read the story that Johnny Searcy, chief of police of Blue Ridge, in a 2005 investigation, failed to take a polygraph test, you're going to want to tune in about 2 minutes. Lonnie, it's going to give me about 2 minutes. We found his the polygraph test. All right, but I'm not ready yet. We want to show the folks, you know, he got up and left. He went over to Cleveland, Georgia. He got ready for the polygraph, and he got up and left, okay, when they started asking. And we found the video of that this morning. We're going to share with you. Let me stay serious on this for a minute. Folks, for all of you out there that have sent me messages about it's a 2005 case, I'm just looking for things to bring up, one thing after the other. You need to read that whole report. If you're somebody out there that sent me one of the nasty messages that support Police Chief Searcy, you need to read that whole entire report, word for word. You need to call Johnny Searcy if you support him today. This is to his supporters. And you need to say, I have read the entire report. Could you please explain it to me? Because although it's in 2005, if Mr. Searcy, it would have gone to a grand jury. If you would have got convicted, you would have been convicted of 2 felonies. You would have lost your job as police chief with the city. You would not be allowed to vote, and you were not allowed to be able to run as our sheriff. So there's a good reason maybe we went back to 2005 to show you that if this gentleman, much like other people in the country today, had to face the charges of this investigation, he couldn't even run as your sheriff. That's number one. So I challenge you to read the whole entire document from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and then call him and ask him. I want you to ask him, if you're his supporter this morning, will you be transparent? And don't just take the answer, yes, I'll be transparent. Will you be transparent? If you say yes, why will you not release? Why are you standing in the way of open records requests that Fetcher News has sent you? And explain it in detail why you will not release what Fetcher News has asked as the city chief of police. Now, if you won't release those as the chief of police, will you be transparent as sheriff? And will you work with the media to get information to the citizens? Go ask him those questions. Now, there's 2 things I want to bring up, because we are going to stay on this race. We're going to get into the 9th district in a minute, okay, 51st district. I told you we're going to look at all these races this week, and this one we're going to look at on a daily basis. But, citizens of Fannin County, I want you to direct your attention to 2014. And here's what I want you to look at, okay? I want you to call law enforcement. I want you to call your uncle that's in law enforcement, not in Illinois. Illinois is exempt from this. Do not call anyone in law enforcement in Illinois or the surrounding area of Chicago. They're exempt. But I'd like for you to call your Uncle Joe, your Uncle Fred, your aunt that worked in the booking room, or maybe as a detective or a special agent. Anywhere in the United States, a friend of yours that's with a bureau somewhere out in, Minnesota, anywhere in the United States. And I would like you to just say, tell me how serious it is. Now stay with the question. Tell me how serious it is if you're the chief of a city police or any investigation unit. How serious is it that you keep your citation books in order, well documented, and always able to have the Department of Justice come in at any time and be able to hand your citations books, have them reconciled and accounted for, and be able to audit them. How serious is that, and how important is that for the chief to have that done? I want you to ask that question. In 2014, Johnny Searcy's chief of police. Here is the audit. Controls over citation books. Citation books issued to the police officers should be documented appropriately when issued and when submitted upon completion. Additionally, citation books should be distributed to officers in a numerical sequence order. Okay? Here you go. Upon review of internal controls in the police department over citation books and issued citations, we noted that there are no log or similar record of citation books issued or returned, completed. See, they're not issued or returned completed, these citation books. Just saying. $200 here, $200, just saying. All right? So if he can't be chief of police and keep track of his citation books, you really want him to be the sheriff. Just giving you people information. Now, this is from the audit, okay? We note that there are no log or similar record of citation books issued or returned completed. The citation books were issued by appropriate personnel. They were issued by the right people. However, there was no documentation as to which officer the book was assigned to. Well, hell, you say. In addition, there was no logical sequence in which the books were issued. Custody of the unissued citation books were not maintained in a secure location with limited or restricted access. Well, completeness of records was compromised. This is the auditor. Due to the inability to effectively track in the issuance and the use of books in an orderly fashion. Upon testing the court docket and related citations, we did not find, you got to pay attention to this close, we did not find any exceptions to accuracy and existence of records. Meaning if citation 11111 was in the book and they went to court, they found the fine for $300 for 11111 and it checked out. But when they got to the next book of 21111, it's not there. You see, it's not there. See, the accuracy of what was turned in is there. But, stay with me on this. We did not find any exception to accuracy and existence of records. However, it was not possible to ascertain the existence of books issued that were not included in the docket. So books 11111 could be in there, but it could have went then to 31111 and then 41111, and nobody knows if 21111 is in a desk drawer or Barney Fife has it. Okay? Now, that being said, here's the cause. Cause was lack of controls over issuance of books caused a risk of incomplete records and increase of potential misstatement of revenue. No, Johnny would never do that. Misstatement of revenue related to the police department. Now, folks, you need to call him if you're a supporter of his. And you need to say, you know what? I need to know what you did to correct this. I need to know, if elected sheriff, who will be your chief deputy? Who will be chief? Because I want to know who's going to help you with some of these controls. Recommendation, it is our recommendation that a log must be maintained, whereas the appointed custodial officer notes the citation books numbers contained in the book to be issued. Now I'm running up on a break. I told you I have a guest, but that is in the audit. That's not my words. for all of his supporters that keep sending me the emails and you're mad and you're saying I'm dredging stuff up. No, I am not. This individual wants to be your sheriff. Now, one more thing. I told you we did find Johnny Searcy's polygraph test that he refused to take. Remember I told you he went over to Cleveland. He refused to take polygraph test. Let's not forget that Gerard and Davis, yes, Gerard and Davis, the city of Blue Ridge, mayor and city council, investigation phase 1 finding. So the city is under investigation. The council's under investigation. The departments in Blue Ridge are under investigation. Gerard and Davis is expected to have phase 2 of this finding released the last week of this month, which I'm not going to say they're doing it on purpose, but maybe they don't want this out before an election. It might be ugly. But phase 2 is coming out. Now, here's what came out in phase 1. They interviewed Police Chief Johnny Searcy. We don't have time to go into detail on that. But here's one of the things they said. They felt, now the city council had to vote to go to the next level. And these are in the recommendations from Gerard and Davis. Gerard and Davis made a whole list of recommendations to the city council. It said, this is phase 1. If you go to phase 2, we recommend you go further in depth into these areas, okay? It is highly recommended that all current city council members, blah, 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 master list, let me get down here. Where was it? Okay. Further investigation into financial accountability of the city departments regarding reported irregular liquidation of city assets and accounting of cash transactions should be undertaken. Folks, we understand they will not tell us, but sources say, we say now, we think that city department is the police department of Blue Ridge. We think right now. Speculate, that's a big word, but I got to tell you, I think pretty sure. We're pretty sure in that second round, sources tell us of investigations that Mr. Johnny Searcy was interviewed for quite a length of time in the second investigation of that, okay? Since further investigation into financial accountability of the city department required reporting irregular liquidation of city assets and accounting of cash transactions. Now, when this report came out, FetcherNews.com said, you know what? We would like to see all the confiscated things that the city police have taken in. Drugs, cars, they impound cars, they confiscate cars and drugs. We'd like to see everything they took in, how they liquidated it, and what they did with the money, because this, number one, just led us to believe maybe we want to look at it. Guess what? We did an open records request. Guess what? Chief of police is standing in the way of revealing that information. Call him. So for everybody out there that is sending me the emails and saying, really, 5 days before an election, this is what you're going to do? No. I'm giving you stuff I'm reading, folks, in black and white. Black and white. GBI investigation reports, audit reports, attorney reports, internal investigation reports. This is stuff you can read for yourself. You don't need me to tell you. But folks, you need to know it before you make a decision on who's going to be your next sheriff in Fannin County. Now, Lonnie, I want to play John, and I want to hear it, so I want to turn it up. I want to play Johnny Searcy's. I want to play his polygraph test that we found, and then I want you to come back to me before we go to our guest. Okay? Go play the polygraph test. Let me hear it. Turn it up.
What's your name?
Jerry Seinfeld.
What is your address?
129 West 81st Street.
Did Kimberly steal Joe's baby?
I don't know.
Did Billy sleep with Allison's best friend?
I don't know.
Did Jane's fiancée kidnap Sydney and take her to Las Vegas? And if so, did she enjoy it?
I don't know.
Did Jane sleep with Michael again?
Yes! Yes, that stupid idiot! He left her for Kimberly! He slept with her sister! He tricked her into giving him half her business, and then she goes ahead and sleeps with him again! I mean, she's crazy! How could she do something like that? I mean, that Jane, oh, she just makes me so mad!
Okay, okay, folks. Hey, we found it in the archives. I don't know why Johnny got so upset, but he did. Folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We have been talking about, and I always pause because I can't get my brain around this. We've been talking about transgender bathrooms. We know this past week we've seen a couple thousand people, maybe more, in Fannin County at a Board of Education meeting. We have seen this become a national issue. You are concerned. I heard moms and dads go to the podium and concerned about their boys and girls going in the bathroom, little boys and girls going in the bathroom with children with identity issues. I don't know how to, I don't even know how you say things anymore in this mixed up world. But anyhow, my next guest, okay, we're going to be able to probably bring this right around for some understanding about child abuse and some things going on, how to identify it, and that's Steve Fallon. So I'm happy to have this segment at this appropriate time and some of the things we're discussing. So stay with us right after the break. We're going to have our guest, Steve Fallon, with us. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. Lonnie, take us to break.
I feel I had to free myself from feeling guilty, feeling responsible, like I was dirty. Who would want me? You know, it's all these things are in your head.
How could somebody do this to me and care about me in any way, shape, or form? I really must be nothing.
And that's what I feel that was taken from me. My virginity, my youth. You're never the same after that.
Darkness to Light's Stewards of Children program teaches adults to prevent child sexual abuse in families and in youth-serving settings, recognize the signs of sexual abuse in children, and react responsibly when they receive a disclosure by a child, when they discover sexual abuse, or if they suspect it. It also teaches adults how to intervene in the gray area when they see unsafe boundary violations by other adults or teens.
I had kind of a closed mind as to, why would nobody ever speak up of something like that? So seeing the stories or hearing the stories from the people it actually happened to, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit. You actually feel what they're feeling.
Having the testimonies and the statistics together, it just made it very real.
Stewards of Children uses documentary-style film in an impactful mix of adult survivors of child sexual abuse experts who have a deep understanding of the issue, and professionals who serve children in youth-serving settings.
If I have a class, like a Sunday school class, a class of 6 kids, and one Sunday, 5 of them don't come, do I still conduct that class? Or do I now take that child and put that child in a class with other students? And to that degree, that's exactly what you do.
You have to ask permission. Look, I'm about to show you something. This is how the hips need to move. I can show you, and I'm going to put my hands on you right here and right here. Are you comfortable with this? If the answer is yes, you go forward and you do it. If the answer is no, I understand completely, no problem. This is what the visual is if I do it. So there is that boundary.
Well, I mean, to use the example of somebody who's holding a child on their lap or tickling a child and the child is clearly not comfortable. I think an adult could just say, hey, it looks like Sally's done with that game. Can we stop now? What we really advocate is describe the behavior, set a limit, and move on.
An interactive workbook and rich community discussion breaks down barriers and unites people, encouraging them to work together and support each other in creating safe environments for children.
And I say that in a way to say you, because we're in the training, but it is all our responsibility.
If you were put in that situation, what choice would you really make? And it reminds me that, I have an obligation of things that I need to do, and I need to be reminded of that. It is my problem, and I should be involved because I am obligated as a person, as an adult, as a leader in the community to do certain things. And
this type of prevention really eclipses all else. Our job is to educate students, but we can't educate students properly unless they come to us healthy, whole, and ready to learn.
We're going to look into the code of conduct, and we're going to make sure that everybody's doing what we can do to keep the community safe.
Some parents in my area, they believe that the topic is very taboo. They don't want to talk about it. I don't think they know how to talk about it. And so me being at this training will give me the tools that I need to take back to them.
Being that I coach football and basketball, I'll go back and look at those areas and try to eliminate one-on-one and even in the church, and also go back and try to change policies.
It's kind of this whole idea of the ripple effect that was just so strong that we won't even see the consequences until, unfortunately, much later.
More than anything, Stewards of Children enables people to courageously and skillfully get involved in something that's been a big taboo, a big area of denial, inaction, and pain in our society. And people feel really good about that victory on behalf of the children they love.
I lived through it, and I made up my mind that it was not going to define me, and that I was going to be determined that it wasn't going to happen to anybody that I knew. Period.
No matter what, we all can face this issue. So we have to, bind together in order to get to the root of this problem and eliminate it.
And it's very important that we do our best to protect the ones we love and the ones that, are part of something that we provide.
It starts with just one individual. And if I can take it and give it to one more person and they can pass it on, then we got the ball rolling, and that's where we begin. And there's no ending, so hopefully we can make a difference.
And we're back. Good morning from the office. I'm BKP, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Our next guest is with Georgia's Prevention to Prevent Child Abuse. What is that? I missed that one.
Yeah, Georgia's Prevention Initiative. Yeah.
Initiative.
Yeah,
okay.
to prevent.
Georgia's Prevention Initiative to prevent child sexual abuse. Steve Fallon. Steve, the other day when you talked to Lisa and we're discussing this, and she brought this ideal to me. I said the timing of all the things surrounding everything right now in the news and discussion and families right now, what they're going through, is a perfect time to talk about this. And you brought today, we just seen a video, folks, you just seen a video that was an introduction to this. So Mr. Fallon, welcome here this morning. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm doing great, yeah.
The 5 steps to protecting our children.
Yeah. Well, it's an important initiative across the state of Georgia, and it's aimed squarely on the issue of sexual abuse. And today we have a real problem because 1 in 10, if you think about that, 1 in 10 kids are likely to be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. And 90% of those kids are actually being abused by someone the family knows. So we've been hitting kids with this idea of stranger danger for years. And it's not stopping the abuse. And so what we have to do is educate adults across the board. We're talking about professionals, school teachers, people in churches, parents of all stripes, to try to do better at protecting kids, because often the kids are just suffering alone.
Well, let me ask you a question. I have to, I cross a couple of the generations there, and you know, I went from when we were kids, we could say hello to people when we're walking down the street, and then we went through a time in this country where anybody's a stranger. You know, you absolutely taught your children, don't speak to them. I mean, it literally got to, you know, you see little kids in the grocery cart, and nothing against the mothers. I understand the mothers and their sensitivity to taking care and protecting their children, right?
Right.
But you say hello to them in the grocery cart, they're like, you know. So where are we at on stranger danger? Where are we at on some of the things that we've evolved into or we need to be aware of?
Well, I think, you know, we teach kids to be aware of strangers and the danger they may present when they're alone. When they're with their parents, in fact, parents need to instill in their children a sense of security. They need to help children understand when they're safe, when they may not be safe, how to say no, how to know that they have rights and privacy over their own body. One of the issues this curriculum gets into is particularly the issue of adults abusing children. And we found that kids, by and large, tend to, whether we mean to or not, they get the message that the rights of adults always trump the rights of kids. And so there have to be some exceptions to that. For instance, if an adult is touching a child in a place they shouldn't be, that child should be equipped to push away or say no or throw themselves into the floor and make a scene if necessary. But the curriculum is designed to teach people to know what the facts are and how to respond to them, and also how to intervene in situations that just don't look right. It's created by an organization called Darkness to Light. They're based in North Carolina. And basically, it is a 2-hour program that teaches adults all of the skills they need, but it also touches people's hearts. You know, a lot of people still leave this issue of child sexual abuse in the shadows. It's a taboo. It's something that we're not real comfortable talking about. But as you talk to counselors, and one of the reasons I got real interested in this, as you know, I worked with drug addicts in different settings for many years. Well, 60% to some say as much as 80% of the drug-addicted population have some form of sexual abuse in their background. That's staggering. It's also a trigger to suicide. It's also a trigger to a lot of other issues when children are sexually abused. And so it's costing our communities and our nation billions of dollars a year in healthcare and productivity costs.
Well, I can see that, and yes, I do. I've known you for several years, and we have worked together on several projects together that were surrounding drug abuse and things like that. Recognize the signs. That one is stands out to me. Talk about it. It's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable.
It is for a lot of people.
Have open conversations with children about our bodies, sex, and our boundaries. And you know, I could see that being an uncomfortable topic for families.
Right. Well, and the important thing too is for parents to get really comfortable talking to their own children. So there's an entire
Right.
section. In fact, step 3, just before recognize the signs, is called talk about it. And
Yes.
and that section is designed for parents. Parents in that section are taught to have a conversation with children about their bodies, to let them know that there are certain private areas, private parts. No one has a right to touch you there. And then the whole idea of building that trust and bonding with kids so that you as the parent are the go-to person and that kids feel comfortable talking to you if there's a concern. Number 4, recognize the signs is an important part of the training, because a lot of times people are looking right at signs and symptoms in a child that may point to some sexual abuse going on, and they don't even know it. One of them, we talk about is when a child starts to have overt sexual behavior. Maybe a parent sees a child doing something sexual that seems more like what an adult would do, or maybe they're just having a habitual problem with masturbation. Maybe they are obsessed or preoccupied with sexual parts. Other things would be injuries if they're being abused, knowing that the child had suddenly felt that they're afraid of a particular caregiver or someone that they used to feel happy with or want to go with. Now they don't want to go with that person. We need to be sensitive to what children are telling us in these different situations and watch for different signs that they may give us.
Well, backing up just one talk about it, I have always said you put it in this category. Uncomfortable is one thing, but necessary is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find something is necessary, it may be uncomfortable, but always fall back to the decision that it was necessary, and it is necessary to do. Maybe uncomfortable, but necessary.
And in the times we live in, it is more necessary than ever. I think that our children are looking to adults, are looking to their parents to give them answers. They see things, they hear things about sexual abuse or sexual assault cases. We have concerns, as you had mentioned earlier, about the transgender bathroom issue right now. And it's not really a concern about transgenders as it is a concern about bathroom use. And so we can talk about that in terms of structural things. Part of the problem is our concern about the way bathrooms are designed right now for use by a person of a particular sex. If we're going to change that, perhaps we need to look at some redesign of bathrooms. It's not a discrimination or a prejudice against transgender, and I think a lot of people misunderstand that. It's a privacy issue, and people need to be able to feel that they're in a safe, private place when they go to the bathroom. And that's the bottom line.
If children at a very young age do not feel that they're in a safe, private place, or have the understanding that areas are private,
right,
then they can get confused with other things if they're led to believe this area is not private. So it has to be private to them to be an example of other things outside of that. And you may say, well, that wasn't private. Maybe this is not private. Steve, our district attorney does a program for 8th graders, and it's called Weapons of Mass Destruction. And she told me she just, when she first took office, she was getting all of these cases or all of these things coming across her desk, and nude pictures of children that were in the 7th grade, 8th grade, and and these phones. We go out here, and these phones are not phones anymore. You and I may still, I'm not going to, your age, you deal with that, I'll deal with mine. But we still kindly say these are phones, but the kids are walking around with computers in their hands. They're walking around with movie cameras, TVs, they're walking around with cameras. These are not phones.
And powerful connections to information and images off the internet.
Exactly.
Which, it's just really a problem. Well, the other problem is that children, when they are not monitored, and there is a section in the training about this. It's also the fact that parents aren't policing their children's internet use.
Right.
And one of the parents in the video part of the training says, I'm not being overprotective, I'm just being a parent, after she talks about how she turns the Wi-Fi off at night so the children can't have access late at night going into where they want to. Looking into your child's phone, a child that is still a minor doesn't have the kind of privacy that an adult would. A parent should be monitoring everything that they do on that smartphone. And so that's part of protecting kids, and that's part of the things that we do need to talk to them about. There are real dangers on the internet, and there are real dangers for them in places that you might not expect. A lot of child abuse occurs either with family friends, relatives, sometimes, I mean, look at the high-profile cases we've had in the last decade. We've talked about priests abusing children. We've talked about coaches. We talk about school teachers. These should be trusted individuals. And so when you see that it's happening across every socioeconomic strata, it's not that it's something that just happens to the poor. It's not something that just happens to uneducated. It happens to highly educated, wealthy, poor, all alike. It happens to religious people. It happens in churches. And so what we need to recognize is that it's not okay to sweep something under the rug or pretend that it doesn't exist when it's pervasive right now in our society at every level. And it's time that we open our eyes about it.
We just, not even 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, had Dennis Hassard, former Speaker of the House.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
And at one time, a high school coach
right.
that kids looked up to.
And then, the problem of sweeping it under the rug, even paying hush money. Yeah. And this is by and large how cases like that are handled. By far the majority are covered up.
We just got a couple minutes left here. React responsibly. What on number 5 there?
And adults should be able to be responsible and hold one another accountable. One of the things we've got to get past is this idea that I'm just, if I try to vet someone who's going to keep or watch my children, that I'm just being paranoid. Babysitters, anyone, daycare, wherever you leave your child, you should make sure there are certain things in place to ensure the safety of that child. You should check that person's background. You should make sure that they have policies in place. One of the steps in there is minimizing opportunity. Do they make sure that there's always 2 adults with the children at all times and that you don't have these one-on-one opportunities? So reacting responsibly is a lot of things in terms of making sure that organizations that take care of our kids have policies in place. Secondly, it's when I become willing to be one who intervenes. We talk about bystander intervention. Let's say I see someone handling a child in a way that the child is visibly irritated or unhappy or disturbed. Maybe they're touching a child in a way that we feel they shouldn't be. Do I have the boldness, the courage to actually say something? Should I say something that redirects that child to another activity and removes them from that uncomfortable situation? I remember as a child having aunts and uncles handle me, pick me up, touch me, and do things in ways that maybe other family members didn't notice, but that, made me feel very uncomfortable. We tend to sometimes not think that it's okay to say something to adults, but the sooner we are willing to intervene and hold one another accountable, the more that we have a chance to protect kids and pull them away from something that may be going in the wrong direction.
How do they get in touch with you, or how can they get more information concerning this if somebody wants to?
Okay, they can email me. I'm Steve Fallon. It's Steve, STEVEF, my initial for my last name, Fallon, and that is at gacfca.org. That's for the Georgia Center for Child Advocacy. gacfca.org. Or they could just go to the website and look up, the region. I am the regional coordinator of prevention for all of Northwest Georgia. So I cover 14 counties, actually, across the northwest part of the state with this initiative.
Mr. Fallon, thank you for coming in.
All
We
right.
appreciate it. We've been talking with Steve Fallon with Georgia's Prevention Initiative to prevent child sexual abuse, darkness to light. You have seen a introduction video. It's about 6 minutes, and you've heard our conversation this morning. And what we will do, if you want to share this, is we will clip this out. Lonnie will put this in its separate clip, put it in our community section that you'll be able to find, put it on our Facebook page, and you can share it with others. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back, and it'll be time for George to come in. Lonnie, take us to break.
Doug Collins can't defend his own record. What does he do? He tries to divert our attention from his record, and he's diverting it onto Paul Brown. He is refusing to stand up and talk to us about his record. He wants to talk to us about Windstream. Any congressman that's sitting up there is going to try to help the people with their issues with Windstream. Any congressman sitting up there is going to try to help their people when the Corps of Engineers changes the rules on pulling water out to water your grass. Any congressman will do that. But will any congressman go up there and vote against omnibus bill? Will any congressman go up there and stand for the 9th District instead of standing for Washington? Will any congressman go up there and tell Washington what the 9th District wants instead of coming back here and telling us why Washington has to have his way? I'll tell you, no, not just any congressman will. Let Doug Collins come back and sit down and get out of our hair.
This is Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
Trust. Round here, we trust people who get things done. Like our state representative, David Ralston. He's cut taxes and balanced the state budget every year. And Ralston delivers. New roads, new jobs, a new university, and the toughest immigration laws in America. Those Washington guys talk big, but never deliver. Round here, we trust David Ralston. Ralston gets it done.
Doug Collins has been a bad representative for the 9th District.
How bad is it?
Doug is such a bad representative that he won't even represent himself against his challengers for the 9th District seat. Well, that's pretty easy to understand. After all, showing up to defend a record like Doug's is a pretty tall order. Since taking office, Doug has voted with the House leadership over 90% of the time. Doug voted for Boehner for Speaker twice. He voted to spy on you, to bail out Wall Street banks in advance of the next crisis, to train Islamic radicals to take down foreign governments that pose no threat. Doug voted for the Omnibus, voted to fund every Title X Planned Parenthood appropriation, and then has the nerve to try to sell you that he did not vote to fund abortion. If you want a representative who will work tirelessly to undo every wrong Doug Collins has done against the will of the 9th District, vote for Mike Scoopine, a proven leader protecting the U.S. Constitution.
It's Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
In 2015, our Gilmer County Probate Court heard over 1,300 criminal cases, 250 estate and guardianship matters, and probated or administered 110 plus wills. Those are very serious issues, and experience matters. You know, we talked about the fact that every county with more than 96,000 people has a licensed attorney as their probate judge. The state requires it. They don't hear different cases. They don't hear different matters, and I don't believe that the due process you receive when you go to the probate court should be based off the county you live in. You want to have a judge who's been there, who's been on the other side of the bench, who's argued that, who knows it, and who can help you. Because compassion isn't always just about being able to listen, but it's being able to do something when you do listen. Experience matters, and I will use my experience in my private practice, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in 2 judges' chambers for the people of Gilmer County.
With early voting starting May the 2nd and the primary beginning on May the 24th, you'll be voting to elect leaders to several offices here in Fannin County. When it comes to the Chief Magistrate, you need someone that demonstrates honesty, integrity, and experience. Since being appointed by the Superior Court judges, I've made it my passion to uphold the same values and principles as the Honorable Judge before me. Whether it is answering the call when our community needed me or operating under budget during my term as Chief Magistrate, it's clear that throughout my 11 years of experience, I have always had Fannin County's best interests at heart. So this May, vote for the right choice. Vote for honesty, integrity, and experience. Vote to keep Sherry Walker.
I'm back. I'm BKP, your host. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I want to introduce my co-host here, George.
Everybody knows me, or should by now.
Should.
Good morning, everybody. George McClellan.
They should know you.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
I'm glad to see you're in a mellow mood
Frank's
today. That
Frank,
was a good.
I am in
that
a
was a
mellow
good
mood.
interview you had with Steve Fallon. Very much needed. And after yesterday's tremendous election results from Oregon and Kentucky, there's not much news out there. People are just jockeying for positions.
Jockeying for positions,
who
no
and
pun
wants what.
intended, right?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Kentucky horse race. Those jokes are going to come in all day. Folks, follow us on Facebook, FetcherNews.com, or follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, hashtag GMFTO. But we would like to thank our sponsors. If you'd like to sponsor our show, 706-889-9700. Or if you would like to just send us an email, chief@FetcherNews.com. We want to thank Dave Chevrolet, who's located in Jasper. Circuit World, promotional code, FetcherNews.com. L&L Beanery, your downtown coffee shop in Blue Ridge, free Wi-Fi. Salon 84 Hair and Color, West Church Street, Jasper. Make your appointment today, 706-253-9876. That's Salon 84 Hair and Color. And Clock Tower Gifts and Boutique. George, I know, but I am I'm very disgusted, and that's the only word I have for it. I'm very disgusted, upset with what I call a poor excuse for leadership in the state of Georgia, our Governor Nathan Deal. I'm upset with this guy. He has been a disappointment, okay? Very big disappointment in this past session with vetoing very popular bills for the citizens wanted, overwhelmingly, high percentages. Then yesterday, Georgia's leader criticizes transgender bathroom. This is the weakest response to a president. Governor Nathan Deal said Tuesday he will ask the state superintendent, a powerless person. Now, I like Richard Woods, but realistically, your state superintendent is somewhat powerless because the governor appoints the state board of education, okay? State superintendent to help. He will ask him to help local districts struggling with the Obama administrative directive to public schools over transgender bathroom rules, but he stopped short of vowing to challenge the guidelines in the court. He'll ask the superintendent to help the struggling schools. George, 99.03% of the population identify with the gender on their birth certificate. They need no help.
Gee, what a surprise. That's why
I
they
mean,
did it.
this is the worst. In a statement, Deal said the Obama administration's guidance last week that directed public schools to allow transgender students to use bathrooms that match their gender identity has generated confusion and controversy. 99.03% are not confused.
That's right. We redefined LGBT something else.
We're not
liquor,
confused.
Guns, bacon, and something else.
There's only 0.07.
You didn't listen to me, did you?
No, what'd you say?
LGBT, liquor, guns, bacon, and something else. But
George,
I won't say it on the end.
George and
So
I
that's
are.
where we're
This
going.
is our LGBT community, right? Liquor, guns, bacon.
Just imagine the third one.
All right. Georgia GOP, but he said it was up. He said it was up to the 181 school districts and not the state to determine. Now, I want you to listen to this, Fannin County, of what he did in this statement. He said it was up to the 181 school districts and not the state to determine an appropriate response, and asked Superintendent Richard Woods to provide guidance to ensure that there will be as much uniformity across the state as possible. I'm going to fall out of the chair. You know the only thing we're missing? Here's the only thing we're missing in this statement. Is Obama to fly to Hartsfield, Jackson, it's got 12 names, the airport, right? Airport, and the governor deal being at the bottom of the ramp of Air Force One and giving him a big hug when he got to the bottom. That's the only thing missing in this comment is giving Obama just a big hug. Would you say so?
God.
Well, I mean, what do you think, George? Are you?
Listen, he's a politician. And he's in his last term. And you know, he doesn't want the flack that comes out. You know, the whole thing is, federal government has usurped the power of the states in the education field with the Department of Education. That's got to go. That's got to go. I'm getting ready to outline in one of my upcoming essays the rules that have been implemented by Congress that has taken the authority from Congress and put it in the hands of bureaucrats. And there's a formula to undo it. And I'm going to expose that. I'm going to reveal that. I got here something right here, right now. Obama, the headline says, Obama rushes to kill the U.S. economy. Well, there's a May 25th deadline. And it says, in an effort to ensure that Congress and the next president are powerless to reverse as many of the economy-killing regulations as possible, Obama has rushed through an $85 billions in new regulations since the beginning of the year. Why isn't our GOP Congress saying, well, that's nice you did it, but we're not going to fund it? We don't see them doing that. We do not see them doing that. The 44 new economically significant regulations were shoved through ahead of a May 23rd deadline dubbed Regulation Day and officially marks Obama's status as a lame duck. And it's for timing and how many days or hours or weeks or minutes the rest of them will spend doing their job in Congress instead of floating around the country trying to get themselves reelected. That's why April was one of the busiest regulatory months this year, and Obama made his regulatory rush count, creating an additional 13.9 million regulatory compliance hours for American businesses and costing every individual in the country an additional $116 in hidden taxes with his 44 new economically significant rules. In other words, he's killing business, and he intends to kill business. Now, why would the next president, not be able to undo it? If he has a cell phone and a pen, well, so should the next president, hopefully Donald Trump, with his cell phone and a pen, just say, well, these are unconstitutional, and we're going to make them all non-functioning. It's going to be a meat axe. We have to have a meat axe taken to our our regulatory rules, restore the Constitution. There's a couple amendments in there that need to be looked at again. There's an act that was enacted back in 1947 that needs to be looked at again. And return the power to Congress. So the people we send up there will at least have the ability to do what we send them up there for, not have to agree with the leadership who wants to keep their job. That's it.
George,
It's
you know there's nothing more I enjoy than coming here and have an opportunity to say I was right about something. You know how much I enjoy
No, you
it.
just said I was right.
No, well, let's move
Aren't
past
we right?
that. Let's move past that. We're up to me being right now.
Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
nothing more I enjoy.
Nah, but go ahead. It's your
Okay,
show.
now, but listen, hear this out. Now, about 4 weeks ago, when the Republicans, according to the media, were in chaos. They were in major chaos. And the riot gear for Cleveland. And will they be a contested convention? I said, George. I said, America. The story nobody's bringing up
Yeah, sure.
is the Democrats contested convention. The Democrats are in chaos. The Democrats have a bigger problem than the Republicans. Remember that?
It was a day after or two after the Nevada convention of the Democrats that we even learned about it.
Right.
That thing fell apart.
Now the Democrats,
They had
I
guns,
love
there'd be
this.
blood on the floor.
The Democrats in Nevada are warning the DNC about Bernie Sanders supporters. Why? It was just yesterday the RNC was being warned about Trump supporters.
Of course. It's shocking.
But I will tell you this, Bernie's not going into that dark
What's he going to
light.
ask for?
He's not going in. Well, here's the thing, and I told people before you got here in my opening this morning. Bernie will not win because it's only a person like Hillary Clinton that can win an entire state by 1,000 votes. It was tied to the last hour. And it seems like, you know how the dealer pushes a little extra chips your way?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It never happens to me, but
right,
I got the picture.
He takes that stick and pushes a little extra chips over to this person, right?
Yeah.
Hillary had some chips pushed over to her in the last hour. She won by 1,000 votes.
1 percentage point.
Yeah.
1%.
But
she got nailed.
She got to go out and say, "We won Kentucky." But the media didn't go for it. The fanfare did not follow like they wanted. So here's the thing. We know Hillary's going to win because it's rigged. We know Hillary's going to win. We know Bernie's supporters are not happy and they're going to go to Philadelphia. But what I told people this morning is the platform of the party, the rules committees, that's behind closed doors and that's pretty powerful. Bernie's people will have a seat at that table and Hillary hates that. Hillary wants to control the convention, control the platform, control the behind the scenes, and control her campaign. She's not very happy thinking about the fact that she's going to go into Philadelphia and have to make a deal with Bernie's supporters. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the water's under the bridge now. He's not going to win, but he's not going to let her go there without having his input on the Democrat Party for the next 4 years.
Bernie said something I very much agree with. Very much. He stood up in California. What did he have, 11,000 last night?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, he's a populist,
Right.
just like Trump.
But he said last night in California, he looked at the crowd and he said, I have been fighting for the working man, blah, blah, blah. And it's a shame that the working man's votes in this country are going to Donald Trump. Bernie recognizes where people are going.
Sure.
That's right.
Sure.
I'm your host, BKP. We're going to follow this up. If you have something you want to say about it, send us a message at chief@fetchernews.com or text us 706-889-9700 if you have an opinion. And don't send me the picture. I see it now on Facebook all day with Hillary's face on a horse on the backstretch of the Kentucky Derby coming around for the win. I've probably seen that cartoon coming already, don't you? All right.
It's a good cartoon, though.
Yeah. Hey, I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back after these brief messages. Lonnie, take us to break.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Better days ahead. Truck Month is back at your new Days Chevrolet in Jasper with savings up to $8,000 off MSRP. Right now, get a roomy new Chevy Equinox for just $23,200, or get Days max discount on a new Silverado Crew Cab, just $31,900, plus instant easy credit with Days Fast Track Credit Center. But these Truck Month savings won't last long. Get to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where Chevy cars and trucks cost less. Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet. Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Doug Collins can't defend his own record. What does he do? He tries to divert our attention from his record, and he's diverting it onto Paul Brown. He is refusing to stand up and talk to us about his record. He wants to talk to us about Windstream. Any congressman that's sitting up there is going to try to help the people with their issues with Windstream. Any congressman sitting up there is going to try to help their people when the Corps of Engineers changes the rules on pulling water out to water your grass. Any congressman will do that. But will any congressman go up there and vote against omnibus bill? Will any congressman go up there and stand for the 9th District instead of standing for Washington? Will any congressman go up there and tell Washington what the 9th District wants instead of coming back here and telling us why Washington has to have its way? I'll tell you, no, not just any congressman will. Let Doug Collins come back and sit down and get out of our hair.
This is Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
Trust. Round here, we trust people who get things done. Like our state representative, David Ralston. He's cut taxes and balanced the state budget every year. And Ralston delivers new roads, new jobs, a new university, and the toughest immigration laws in America. Those Washington guys talk big, but never deliver. Round here, we trust David Ralston. Ralston gets it done.
Doug Collins has been a bad representative for the 9th District.
How bad is it?
Doug is such a bad representative that he won't even represent himself against his challengers for the 9th District seat. Well, that's pretty easy to understand. After all, showing up to defend a record like Doug's is a pretty tall order. Since taking office, Doug has voted with the House leadership over 90% of the time. Doug voted for Boehner for Speaker twice. He voted to spy on you, to bail out Wall Street banks in advance of the next crisis, to train Islamic radicals to take down foreign governments that pose no threat. Doug voted for the Omnibus, voted to fund every Title X Planned Parenthood appropriation, and then has the nerve to try to sell you that he did not vote to fund abortion. If you want a representative who will work tirelessly to undo every wrong Doug Collins has done against the will of the 9th District, vote for Mike Scoopine, a proven leader protecting the U.S. Constitution.
It's Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
In 2015, our Gilmer County Probate Court heard over 1,300 criminal cases, 250 estate and guardianship matters, and probate administered 110 plus wills. Those are very serious issues, and experience matters. We talked about the fact that every county with more than 96,000 people has a licensed attorney as their probate judge. The state requires it. They don't hear different cases. They don't hear different matters, and I don't believe that the due process you receive when you go to the probate court should be based off the county you live in. You want to have a judge who's been there, who's been on the other side of the bench, who's argued that, who knows it, and who can help you. Because compassion isn't always just about being able to listen, but it's being able to do something when you do listen. Experience matters, and I will use my experience in my private practice, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in 2 judges' chambers for the people of Gilmer County.
With early voting starting May the 2nd and the primary beginning on May the 24th, you'll be voting to elect leaders to several offices here in Fannin County. When it comes to the Chief Magistrate, you need someone that demonstrates honesty, integrity, and experience. Since being appointed by the Superior Court judges, I've made it my passion to uphold the same values and principles as the Honorable Judge before me. Whether it is answering the call when our community needed me, or operating under budget during my term as Chief Magistrate, it's clear that throughout my 11 years of experience, I have always had Fannin County's best interests at heart. So this May, vote for the right choice. Vote for honesty, integrity, and experience. Vote to keep Sherry Walker.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. I'm here with my co-host, George. George is a member of the LGBT community, correct, George?
Yes,
Just
sir.
double checking. Want to make sure.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Are you going to
Yes,
get
sir.
cards printed, or are you going to be a card-carrying member of the LGBT community?
Liquor, guns, bacon, and trucks. Now, I'll tell you, that's the way to go.
Liquor, guns, bacon, and trucks. That's George's LGBT community. He says that you can become a member today of his LGBT community, and he's going to be a card-carrying member.
Actually, the whole idea is wonderful. If you can just snatch away their definitions,
It's just wonderful.
and just change the whole precept of what Delaware stands for, and trash the whole idea. Man,
How can you go wrong with bacon?
how can you or trucks?
Yeah, trucks. I like trucks.
Or guns.
Or all the above, but bacon can't go wrong with it. Hey, don't forget, visit our friends down at Schottenkirk Ford on 515 South. That's Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Also, go to the UPS store in East LJ. We have a UPS store in East LJ. And One Source Business Products over at the Highland Shopping Center, over there where Walmart is in East LJ. One Source Business Center. And North Georgia Diamond, located in the East LJ Walmart Shopping Center. North Georgia Diamond, tell them that Fetch Your News sent you promotional code. George?
That's
Now-
Bill and Allison Craig. Good
Yes,
people.
Bill
Good
and
people.
Allison,
Good folks. Know them well.
good people. Just point well taken. You are 100% right. Now, the 9th congressional race, they're trying to, and I say this, they're trying to, the media is trying to, I've seen a couple accounts saying that Doug Collins, I've not seen Congressman Collins, I've not seen any polling data, but I've seen it floated out. And I don't know how they know this, that he has a big enough lead to win without a runoff. And I don't know that I agree with that. I've tried to keep my ear to the ground on that race, and I just don't know that I agree with that.
You and I would know better than anybody, I think, but that's just a wag. That's all it is, just a wag. They're trying to set a parameter that others cannot achieve.
I think that race is going to have a runoff. There's 5 voters. And the one thing I can say for all 5.
Candidates.
Candidates. Thank you, George. One thing I can say for all 5 candidates, General Fontaine, Mike Scapine,
Roger
Fitzpatrick, Doug Collins, and Paul Brown, is they have went out and asked for votes.
They are.
So they're going to
busy.
get votes. Every candidate, they've
Very
gone
busy.
out and asked for votes. They've been all over the district. They probably had to get a new set of tires on whatever they're driving, and they went to the barbecues and they asked for votes. So they're going to get votes. That being said, you want to. It's Wednesday. You want to do it now or wait a couple days, or you want to make a prediction on who the runoff will be?
Well, of course, Doug. I think Paul Brown, probably. Really. He has a larger organization behind him than the grassroots Tea Party people. And Paul Brown's appealing to the Tea Party people as well. As much as I love Mike Scapin and listening to him talk, absolutely he talks straightforward, good, very good politics. I hear less from Roger Fitzpatrick, but I'm hearing more from Paul Brown.
Okay.
And Paul Brown's the one guy that Doug Collins attacks all the time anyway, trying to knock him out with this thing that happened 8 years ago with these or whatever with his staff.
Let's just
Chief of
say this.
Staff.
Let's put this in the memory bank today on Wednesday at 9/28/5/18.
Okay.
Okay. I'm saying the runoff is Doug Collins and Roger Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Okay. And not for any reason of what candidate I like, because I've gone to these forums and I've gone to these meet and greets and I've gone to candidates stand up and say who they are. And I have seen Paul Brown sit here and give his opening speech, and people say, well, I really like what he said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I've heard Roger Fitzpatrick give his, and they say, oh, but I really like what he said.
Well,
I see them tweak it up a little bit with what Roger says. Now, not that Paul's not presenting a constitutional message, a conservative message, and have a conservative voting record, but taking the part that I see people out there saying, I really like Roger Fitzpatrick.
Are enough people saying that?
I think so, because you take that and then you mix that Doug has. Doug has put the money he has spent so far into keeping Paul Brown out.
Yep, yeah.
So if you measure this going
can't argue
up
that.
this way,
Yeah.
and somebody pounding you down this way,
Mm-hmm.
Paul, which I do like, I like all the candidates, but Paul may be meeting Roger Fitzpatrick rising as he's going down.
Good point.
Just say.
Good point.
That was at 9:28,
Nick,
5:18.
If you're listening, take a note.
No, I'm not. No,
that's a
you
good
didn't
point.
hear me say I didn't like Paul.
That's exactly right. But,
You didn't. I didn't. Because we both know that Doug has put the money on, making sure you knew Paul shouldn't go.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I got a second part to that.
All right, shoot.
If it's a runoff between Doug and Paul Brown, Doug has the money, and he has to him he has the villain to go after, Paul Brown. Okay? So Paul Brown in the runoff doesn't pose quite the problem, whether you think so or not. Because Doug will have the money to go after Paul Brown, and you will see hourly. I mean, they will put extra mailmen on the route to deliver Doug's cards in your mailbox, and he has the money to do it.
Push
and
cards.
and they will swear that Paul Brown, stole your beach ball out of the pool when you weren't looking. Okay,
Yeah,
now
sure.
they just will. Okay,
Yeah.
but here's the last little thing in that: if Roger's in the runoff, Doug doesn't have anything to say.
Against Rogers, that's true.
That's
And,
right. Roger,
and that's
what are you
right.
going to put a push card out? Roger was a good guy.
Sure.
Roger was a principal for 28 years.
Yeah.
Roger
Was
served
he in the military?
in the
Yes, he
military.
was.
Roger, what are you going to put a push card out saying?
Oh, he's a bad guy. He's not smart.
Do you
enough to
understand?
do this. Sure, I
All
got
right,
it.
that's
I
my
got
little
it.
take on the 9th District. Just a little.
And still, Doug Collins has got to explain that vote. There's no way around it. that he can explain the vote for
What's that called? I'm not doing well with words today. What I just do? Prognosticate.
You did, and you pronounced it correctly.
All right, I'll get it.
Prognostications are...
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna. But that's today's prognostication.
Very well said, sir.
Okay, now let's
I'm impressed. You're improving.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm okay. I want to improve. You hit a home run there.
Our good friend Joe McCutcheon has trouble with vocabulary. He asked me what words I use sometime in my essays are. I said, well, Joe, you went to Georgia Tech. They know how to spell football.
Georgia U.S. Senate.
Georgia U.S. Senate?
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I can't change from what we believe already. Because Johnny Isakson is faced with this debilitating disease, he acknowledges it. He tells us he can still run, and he's got a campaign going, and it's an effective campaign. We'll get to push comes to shove, and I still think that he will at the last, if he wins re-election, then he'll say I can't, and they will appoint Kingston, or it may happen before. But we're getting close to election time. I think he might try to get elected.
I think he's going to try to get elected because then that would give the governor the power to appoint. Mm-hmm. And then I think, folks, I'd have to look it up. The governor has the power to appoint, and that would be for 2 years or 4 years. You can't have a simultaneous U.S. Senate. It's not the Constitution. And the amendments don't allow for that. You have to have rotating Senate elections. So it would have to be 4 years. If you can't have, David Perdue is up in 2 years. So Johnny got elected 2 years from now. David's up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, the timing thing is right.
So,
it's a 6 year thing.
So anyhow, but we'd have to look it up. But here is my prognostication on this one. You ready? Okay. Now, here's you got to stop and think all this out. I don't like the ideal of the governor appointing your U.S. senator. But let's say Deal. Let's look at this. Let's say Deal was the most conservative governor in the United States. He passed a bathroom bill and signed it. He passed religious liberty and signed it. He passed constitutional carry and signed it. And he was on the front page of every liberal magazine as the guy you have to take out. That would be my award for you, okay, if you want to convince me you're conservative, okay? And let's say he was the most conservative governor in the United States. And he was on the news every day because he was, to them, he was so radical because he was so conservative. So let's put him in that category. Now, my thought of Johnny Isakson retiring and the governor appointing the next senator wouldn't bother me as bad. But Johnny is moderate at best to me. I mean, he doesn't
only have the highest conservative.
He's only conservative at a convenient time.
Sure.
Period. Okay. Mm-hmm. Likeable, but conservative at a convenient time. Moderate at best. On his best days, a moderate. That being said, with the actions of Nathan Deal recently, this past year especially, the comments he made this morning concerning the bathrooms, not standing up for 99% of Georgia.
You think Nathan wants that job?
No, I'm just saying the example he's made of how really liberal I think he is. Think of the kind of senator he would be okay with sending to Washington to represent you. Think of who he would be okay with.
Well, he still has to deal with what the party wants and who they recommend.
Well, at the recent time, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what you want. He doesn't care what the voter wants. No. He doesn't care what David Ralston wants. He doesn't care what Casey Cagle wants. He doesn't care.
Nobody he appoints will rise to the ability to confront the party any better than Donald Trump. He's one of a kind. It will matter. It will definitely matter.
Write that one down, folks. 936-518. I do not trust who Deal will appoint as senator if Johnny Isakson gets elected and retires. I do not trust who he will appoint, and I do not think it will matter. So that'll be a great one for George and I to come back to when that takes place so we can discuss that. Now, I have not said this on any candidate, George. You don't have to get on my bandwagon. It is the only candidate that I have said do not vote for. And I'm going to give you my reason. You may not like some of the forums. You may not like some of the debate structure. You may not like some of the interview structure, but I'm going to tell you something. Speaker Ralston did stand on the stage. Now, you're going to boo me over this right now, but Speaker Ralston did stand on the stage with Sam Snyder. Okay? Steve Gooch did stand on the stage with John Williamson. Okay? They have been interviewed by me. Johnny Isakson refuses to stand on the stage with Mary Kay Backley-Yah and Derek Grayson. And I have personally met both several times, and I've met Dr. Mary Kay. George, she's brilliant, and I'm not saying to vote for her, but she's brilliant. You would enjoy, have you met Dr. Mary Kay?
I have not. I
You
know
would
Derek.
enjoy, she's the kind of person that if you sit down at this table, you would walk away so impressed with her intellect, her knowledge. She will bring you the education bill. She read the education bill. She has it in a binder. George, it's this thick. Johnny voted for it. And she has highlighted everything that's bad for us that Johnny voted for.
Well, she's prepared. Let's hope she has the opportunity.
But he won't stand on the stage with his opponents. That is wrong, folks. That is wrong.
I agree.
He owes if he wants to be your senator, he owes the voters of Georgia, the Republican voters of Georgia in the primary, he owes you the time to stand on the stage with his opponents and debate the issues. That's all I have.
You done?
Yeah, I'm going to save the rest for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, I have 51st District Senate candidate John Williamson coming in at 9. I told you that the other day. So John will be here at 9 o'clock
So
tomorrow.
don't look for me tomorrow. I will not be here. I will be watching it on my computer.
The John will be here, and so we'll save that one for tomorrow, and I'll save Gilmore probate for in the morning. So I'm good. I'm caught up. What do you have?
I love it. I just have my short take. But there's one other thing. There's a story ascending out there that says that Donald Trump, if Donald Trump's ascendancy will cause the GOP conservatives to lose influence in the Congress. And I think the way they framed the headline is that the Republican Party will lose influence, but no, it's their definition of what a GOP conservative is that will lose influence, and the Trump's idea of conservatism will prevail, and I think that's what they're worried about. But that's a trending story I'm going to keep an eye on. That happens, but
Trump is. We're going to see it in the next 2 weeks because something's not adding up with Hillary, and the Democrats are not telling you how nervous they are with the Bernie supporters. Because Bernie said on the stage last night, basically, if you break down what he said, his voters are Trump's.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
Yeah, exactly right. And he swept Oregon.
Yes.
And he only lost Kentucky by 1 percentage point, 1,000 votes, 1%. And, again, that's very powerful for him. And she can stand on the screen and say, oh, we won. Well, okay, you did.
The guy took the little thing and slid some chips over to Hillary's way late last night, and she won by 1,000 votes. So she got, 2 black chips? We'll move that way. Hillary knows how to get a black chip when necessary.
Could be.
George, we're going to see something. Something's not adding up out there. It's not adding up on that Democrat
Well, I'll
side.
tell you what, it's not in her id, her personality, to not continue this to the bitter end.
If Trump runs against Hillary, I look at a landslide.
For Trump?
Yes.
For Trump, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I look at a landslide.
Yeah.
I look at a Richard Nixon night.
Well, that's a good comparison. The metaphors, yeah.
I remember because, I didn't just start following politics. So on election night, this is back when it took till 1 a.m. to get the results. Now with the computers and everything, polls close at 7 and, Fox calls it at 7:15 because it, got computers. Well, back in those days, you couldn't have a computer, color in a state, all that, right? And I'll never forget, it's Tuesday night, right? So it's election night, Tuesday night. And my brother, my mom and them made them go to bed. But I asked my dad, could I stay up and watch the results?
I remember doing that.
And I stayed up as a child, and I watched Nixon win. Okay? I watched him win. And I'll never forget, that's the first time I heard landslide. So there you go. So Trump will win in a landslide. That's my prediction. At this time, we always try to save some time for George. Final thoughts of the day. George writes short takes. And if you'd like to read George's short takes, you go to fetchernews.com and you scroll over the news section and you can see the opinion. Now, if you'd like to write your opinion piece and send it to us, chief@fetchernews.com, or you would like to write a letter to the editor, it doesn't matter the subject. You send it to us at chief@fetchernews.com and we'll get it in there. If you'd like to read George's short takes, you can go to the opinion section and find his short takes. George, what do you have for us today?
Apart from the fact that the newest crisis that is occupying the news media now is the LBGT transgender use of bathrooms. A nothing story, but it sucked all the air out of everything Obama is doing over here.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
We're not watching his left hand while he continues to screw the economy. Crisis everywhere, not a solution. Is the GOP in crisis? Yes, of course it is. But worse, so is America. The GOP's crisis is called Donald Trump, in whose hands potentially lies the salvation of an America quickly slipping away. America's crisis is called the Democrat Party, or Progressive Socialists, which has worked fastidiously to denigrate, downgrade, and outright trash the rule of law, in other words, U.S. Constitution, to be substituted by the knowledgeable and learned input of the intellectual business and banking class who claim they know better how to govern the masses than the masses can do themselves. Do not doubt them. The GOP crisis, when this Trump shock phenomenon finally fades out, is really nothing more than a needed adjustment to the political party that improperly calls itself conservative. Trump has redefined the word conservative, and the voter base has latched onto it. Maybe he should rename it the American First Party. Sadly, the posturing by the politically connected GOP elites, those that once said never Trump, are now falling all over themselves to get in line to kiss Trump's hand, like U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. That is pitiful to behold. Even in defeat, the GOP's ruling class seems to show spinelessness in the face of reality. Or does it? Perhaps this shameless fawning by the GOP insider elites could be a cunning device to sideline Trump and make him their creature, usurp and nullify his fair tax plans, quash his immigration plans, and readjust his foreign policy ideas so the crisis profiteers can continue to make armaments and money. Then it would be back to business as usual. I don't see that happening. Theoretically, the base would be pacified for a while, and the ruling class could get on with their task of ruling and re-entrenchment. Trump is a political outsider, after all, unskilled in the fine art of political mischief and mayhem. But beware, Trump is still an experienced fighter. We'll know soon enough. Here's my take. Do Trump supporters really want agreement with the GOP on the GOP's terms? I don't think so. But worrying so much about Trump takes our eyes off of keeping the U.S. Senate. Losing that would be a crisis, as the progressive need only 6 seats to regain control of the Senate. They have targeted Illinois' Mark Kirk, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire, Rob Portman of Ohio, and Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. And now and the now available seat of Marco Rubio of Florida. So we also have 3 geriatric GOP senators who are in the gun sights: McCain, who's age 80, Richard Shelby, age 82, and Chuck Grassley, age 83. All are apparently healthy men for their age, but all are already politically fossilized by their overly long terms in office, which is a good argument for term limits. Democrats aren't much better off. They need to save 6 key senatorial target seats themselves, filled by weak incumbents. Here in Georgia, we have a senatorial problem in Johnny Isakson, who tells us he is facing the onset of Parkinson's disease, but will run again. Nonsense. He will assuredly resign, I believe, allow Governor Deal to make an appointment, and I suspect it would be Jack Kingston, and thus deprive the GOP voters of having a choice of who our next senator should be. That's it. Politics as usual.
That was right in line with what we were talking about.
It was indeed.
We brought up a couple of those things, didn't we?
We did indeed.
Folks, a couple things. Number one, a little break from politics. Nah, that can't happen. I almost did. Came close. But we're going to focus this week. Here at FetchYourNews.com. And we're going to focus this week, the end of this week, on graduation for the young people, the students, the future of our country. And I am so excited about that. Lonnie, Kevin, Deb, Lisa, myself, Laura, we're all looking forward to all of the things that we're going to focus on throughout the rest of the week. I'm so excited. Kevin Hensley, our director of sports, he has such a great relationship with most of the young people throughout a lot of these North Georgia high schools that he covers. And again, we're going to really focus Friday and Saturday on as much graduation information as we can. This year, we were able to do 3 graduation tributes. We want to thank the people that worked on those. You can go to Gilmer County, Fannin County, and Pickens County, or you can go to our Facebook page, find the color of your graduation cap, click on that, and they have done a tribute. FetchYourNews.com has done a tribute for the graduates of that class. So that's important to us. Yes, on Friday morning, as the storms and the rains pass through North Georgia, we'll have a more accurate information on where some of the graduations will be held, indoors, outdoors, and what will be going on. So you're going to want to tune in Friday to North Georgia's only live online morning newscast with Kevin Hensley. Coming up right after this show is Kevin Hensley's morning report, the morning report with Kevin Hensley, North Georgia's only live online morning newscast. If you see news in Fannin, Gilmer, or Pickens, Union, or Towns, Cherokee County, North Carolina, Dawson, White, or Lumpkin County, or even over in Murray County, Georgia, we want to know about it here at FetchYourNews.com. So send us your tip today at 706-889-9700. Email us at show, SHOW, at FetchYourNews.com or chief at FetchYourNews.com. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook or Twitter at FetchYourNews, hashtag GMFTO. Now, just to wrap this up, yes, sir.
I wanted to say, on a happy note, I want to note also that the Gilmer chapter
Yes,
of
thank
the
you.
First Foundation for Childhood Literacy this month has reached a milestone of having placed 100,000 free books in the hands of children, newborn all the way up to age 5. Children who cannot read by the time they are age 5 will have a long, hard time in school. And age 5 seems to be a cutoff point. And we are putting up 1,700 to 2,000 books a month. We mail at our expense free books to these children. And tomorrow there's a celebration of that 100,000 book milestone.
Thank you, George.
It's not free. It's free to them, but we need to raise money to make it happen. And I'm available to make a presentation to any group who would like it.
George, we appreciate your work in the community and your work in this most worthwhile
You got through prognostications okay.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. I can't get through worthwhile endeavor. Whatever.
Okay.
Endeavor.
We got it.
George, I'm trying to get past the LGBT community. You know, so I'm trying to get past that. But yes, I want to support here at FetcherNews.com and let you know that you can send us a message and get more information on this with George. And thank you. How 10,000 books did you say?
100,000. 100,000.
I missed a zero.
Oh, you missed. It's all right. You missed worthwhile.
You know what? I went to the Hillary Clinton School of Missing Zeros. I have jokes too, folks. Huh? Oh yeah, I've taken a couple of Hillary's classes. Trump, Sanders wins Oregon. Trump wins Oregon primaries. Kentucky too close to call with extended coverage. They stayed up all night long to see if that horse was going to come in. A photo finish. She won by a nose.
By a nose, yeah.
I want to see all those cartoons. Send me those cartoons out there today of Hillary winning by a nose in Kentucky. Oh, the Derby is on. Donald Trump will sweep and he will win in a landslide. Folks, we tell you here before we leave, I'm going to look at the Gilmer County probate judge race tomorrow in our 8 o'clock hour, a little closer. I have spent a lot of time with the 4 candidates. I've gotten to know the 4 candidates, some better than when we started. I am happy to announce that Gilmer County has 4 good candidates. I will say that. So it's in politics, sometimes it's hard to come to you and say how excited you are that the citizens are going to be represented well with 4 candidates. So you have 4 candidates, but I want to bring up a couple things in that race, not about the candidates, about the position, and just making sure you have all the information. So we're going to look at that one a little closer. We're going to go back to looking at the sheriff. Why? Folks, I'm going to close with telling you this. You need a constitutional sheriff. Sorry, folks. Listen to me again. Now, no disrespect to if you're out in Missouri and in New Jersey or wherever you're at, and if you have assemblymen, county assemblymen, or if you have freeholders or commissioners, however your local governments are structured, okay? In Georgia, you have a commission board. I think there's only like 4 sole commissioners left in the state of Georgia. Outside of that, all of the 159 counties, did I get it right?
Yep.
Okay, so they have a commission board. And a lot of the counties have a chair commissioner, okay? He's the CEO. Most counties are structured that way. But folks, the most powerful position in your county is not the chairman. No disrespect, Mr. Chairman. But realistically, the most powerful position in your county today is your sheriff office. You need to look in it, see who's in it, and take an extra minute and think about who you put in it. And it needs to be a constitutional sheriff. That's my point. Review everything I put up. I will continue to work on this one. I've not, for those that I hear the osmosis coming through the county. Well, how come you're not looking at the sheriff race here or there? I'm going to throw a little shout out. Dawson County, Sheriff Billy Carlisle, he's retiring. Dawson County Sheriff Billy Carlisle's retiring. Guess what? 4 candidates are seeking the office of sheriff. I am happy to say again to the citizens of Dawson County, you have 4 good candidates. Now, there's a lot of differences between the candidates, but you have 4 good candidates. You have 4 candidates that I heard in Dawson County asked at a forum about being a constitutional sheriff, and I'm pretty much all satisfied with their answers. So I'm really not digging into that race because I only have so much time in a day. But the Fannin County Sheriff's race concerns me, and I'm going to get into that more before now and Tuesday. I'm your host, BKP. Look who's in the sheriff's office, what they're doing in the sheriff's office, and review everything before you put somebody in your sheriff's office, a constitutional sheriff. You with me?
I got you. Absolutely.
I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Tomorrow, I will have John Williamson in here. He is the candidate for the 51st District. If you have any questions for Mr. Williamson, State Senate candidate, send those to me at chief@fetchyournews.com or text me at 706-889-9700. Or tomorrow on the show, don't hesitate to maybe call in and ask Mr. Williamson a question while we have him on the show. Next up, after these brief messages, Kevin Hensley with the Morning Report, North Georgia's only live online morning newscast, the Morning Report. I'm out of here, George. I'll see you Friday. Friday. Lonnie, take us out of here.
Well, that's some dead or dying.
My name is John Williamson, and I'm running as a candidate for the Georgia Senate in the 51st District, which includes the counties of Gilmer, Fannin, Union, White, Dawson, Lumpkin, and parts of Pickens and Forsyth counties. I'm a 34-year resident in Gilmer County. I've been married 40 years, have 6 children and 16 grandchildren. My serious interest in politics started several years ago with the co-creation of the local Tea Party of Gilmer County. And I've been attending the Board of Commissioners and Board of Education meetings, so I have an idea of the challenges that we face in rural Georgia. I want to talk to you today about my reasons for running for office. My first reason stems from my belief in the Republican values, the underlying Republican values that we all seem to ascribe to, which is low taxes, small government, fiscal responsibility. I have watched our incumbent, Senator Gooch, and the legislature in Georgia violate these principles over the last 6 years. Our senator ran on this platform that I just described 6 years ago. It has never been challenged, but last year he supported and led the largest tax increase in the state of Georgia. The second reason that I'm running is to provide better representation for our 51st District citizens regarding especially taxation and regulation. I want to use 3 illustrations of how our taxes have been increased effectively in the last few years. The first is the sales tax on our private sales of automobiles. How many of you have sold your automobiles to friends and family over the years, and now you have to pay a tax, 7% every time you do this? The second is the 20% tax penalty that we're paying to get our money back for road projects because we did not vote for the T-Splosh. That cost our county recently $100,000 just to get a road grant back. And third, we have the unfair $5 a night tax on hotels and motels, which is a real hurt to our industry, which really lives on tourism in many of our counties. Well, the third reason is, I promise, transparency and the willingness to admit mistakes in judgment. For instance, I have been interpreted that some of my comments, I guess my opponents have been wrong for that. I apologize. On the other hand, has our senator ever admitted that perhaps the T-Splosh penalty was a poor idea? What about voting to prevent Georgians from obtaining eyeglasses over the internet? Did this serve his constituents' interests? Could it possibly be related to a campaign contribution by the Georgia Eyeglass Association? What about the need to license lactation consultants? Does grandma really need a license to teach her granddaughter to breastfeed? Aren't you offended when the politicians come back to the districts during elections with checks, road grants, and grants in their hand, posing for photographs? That's what they're supposed to be doing. That's why we elected them. That's their job. And second, that's our money they're bringing back to us. That's our money. Don't be fooled. Now, I have a vision for Georgia that includes solutions to some of our most pressing statewide problems. I want to leave the state in better shape for our grandchildren and their children. For instance, there are welfare and education reforms that have been demonstrated to work in other states, and we can do it here in Georgia. We also need to stop our state from traveling down the road of fiscal irresponsibility by adding such long-term debt. These are some of the issues I'd like to work on to secure the best future for our families in Georgia. I want to represent you. I'll be open to listening to your concerns and working with you in the Atlanta, Georgia Senate. Please check out my website for other issues that you may have questions about. It's Williamson 2016, and call me anytime. I'm John Williamson, and I'm running for the Senate seat in the 51st District to give you a choice and a voice. If I am your choice, I will be your voice in Atlanta. Please vote on May 24th.
Truck Month is back at your new Days Chevrolet in Jasper with savings up to $8,000 off MSRP. Right now, get a roomy new Chevy Equinox for just $23,200, or get Days max discount on a new Silverado Crew Cab, just $31,900, plus instant easy credit with Days Fast Track Credit Center. But these Truck Month savings won't last long. Get to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where Chevy cars and trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Only Pizza Hut delivers 2 medium pizzas any way you want for just $6.99 each. Get any 2 freshly made pizzas with high quality, fresh ingredients and sauce made with California vine-ripened tomatoes. Now get your favorite specialty recipes like meat lovers, backyard barbecue chicken, or 5-pepper pepperoni. So you never have to compromise with any quality toppings, any crust, any specialty. Anything you want on any 2 medium pizzas, just $6.99 each. Only at Pizza Hut.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Switch and save at Schottenkirk Ford. Find quality pre-owned trucks under $20,000 and not just Fords. We have all the best makes and models. Shop the best selection of certified pre-owned Fords in the area. Switch today and shop our network of over 500 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. We'll even deliver it to you. Plus, every vehicle sold comes with Schottenkirk Customer Care, which offers you extra protection for no extra charge. Make the switch to Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
A sudden yet welcome change of venue for the upcoming Gilmer High School graduation may become a reality as we provide updates from the Gilmer County Board of Education meeting Monday night. A major Gilmer County employer is purchased and much more coming up on this edition of the Morning Report. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May the 18th, 2016. I'm your anchor, Kevin Hensley. If you have any breaking news tips to send to us while we are on the air, our email address is show@fetchyournews.com. Senate bills came home to Gilmer County Monday night at the Board of Education meeting as the board heard a presentation in its new Parent and Community Engagement section. The presentation was to provide information on Senate Bill 133, which is set for citizens to vote on in November. This bill will allow the governor of Georgia to take over what is deemed failing schools in the state and appoint his own superintendent to control those schools and their staff, curriculum, budget, and administration. These are called Opportunity School Districts and are still not fully defined as to what constitutes a failing school or who the governor could appoint or if he could bring in companies to control the schools. The OSD superintendent would be authorized to waive State Board of Education rules, regulations, policies, procedures, and provisions for OSD schools, but not federal, state, or local government rules or court orders. The OSD would also be able to select, approve, or remove the OSD school's principals, transfer teachers, control the school's budgets, and modify education content. Also reported in Monday's presentation was that if Senate Bill 133 is approved, the state would likely start taking over those failing schools at the beginning of the 2017-18 school year. Now be sure to check out Fetcher News for more on the board's meeting Monday night, including the monthly financials and East Blast, new policy changes, a possible change to the lawn service for the school system, and several recognitions for local students. There was also some more good news come out of Monday's decision by the Supreme Court regarding Obamacare's contraception mandate and its impact on religious affiliated employers like Truett McConnell University. The court was attempting to decide whether religious institutions can be exempt from paying for or indirectly allowing birth control and other reproductive coverage in their plans. Instead, which has functioned with only 8 justices since the death of Anton Scalia, chose to send the case back to the appeals court. Fox News also reports in the High Court's unanimous decision suggests that it lacks a majority for a significant ruling, and again is perhaps another example of how the justices have been affected by the death of Justice Scalia. Right now, the government can take steps to make sure that women covered by the group's health plans have access to cost-free contraceptives, but institutions cannot be fined for non-compliance. Also from the Gilmer County Board of Education meeting Monday, a surprise announcement as the Gilmer County Charter School System Superintendent, Dr. Shanna Wilkes, told attendees at the work session that they had hope. Today, however, is decision day for the superintendent as a final decision will come as to where they will hold the Gilmer High School graduation. At the meeting Monday, it was announced that the ceremony could be held at the new football stadium that has been renovated. The turf's down, it's ready to go. However, there is a high chance of rain, so a decision will be made today as to whether or not to hold it outdoors or indoors, as already has been scheduled in the high school gymnasium. And it is graduation time again as we here at Fetcher News celebrate and offer our congratulations to the students and their families. If you have to miss the special event, or if you just missed capturing that special photo, make sure to check out the Fetcher News Facebook page to find our photo coverage of the Gilmer, Pickens, and Fannin graduations later Saturday afternoon. And speaking of the weather, we are currently sitting at 69 degrees in Ellijay right now. The rain is still hanging around, so you can look for a few showers sporadically throughout your day. Now, while experts have reduced the chance of rain today and tomorrow to around 40%, they are still looking at a 90% chance on Friday for many of the graduations around our area, which will include Gilmer and Fannin. However, there is only a 10% chance of rain on Saturday morning. Also on today's show, we have election updates. The Clear Creek Middle School softball team is holding tryouts. Plus, we will spotlight our Pet of the Week from the Gilmer County Animal Shelter. Coming up, Gilmer County residents will now have new ownership at their workplace. We'll tell you more after this break on the Morning Report.
Doug Collins can't defend his own record. What does he do? He tries to divert our attention from his record and he's diverting it onto Paul Brown. He is refusing to stand up and talk to us about his record. He wants to talk to us about Windstream. Any congressman that's sitting up there is going to try to help the people with their issues with Windstream. Any congressman sitting up there is going to try to help their people when the Corps of Engineers changes the rules on pulling water out to water your grass. Any congressman will do that. But will any congressman go up there and vote against omnibus bill? Will any congressman go up there and stand for the 9th District instead of standing for Washington? Will any congressman go up there and tell Washington what the 9th District wants instead of coming back here and telling us why Washington has to have his way? I'll tell you, no, not just any congressman will. Let Doug Collins come back and sit down and get out of our hair.
This is Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
Trust. Round here, we trust people who get things done. Like our state representative, David Ralston. He's cut taxes and balanced the state budget every year. And Ralston delivers. New roads, new jobs, a new university, and the toughest immigration laws in America. Those Washington guys talk big, but never deliver. Round here, we trust David Ralston. Ralston gets it done.
Doug Collins has been a bad representative for the 9th District.
How bad is it?
Doug is such a bad representative that he won't even represent himself against his challengers for the 9th District seat. Well, that's pretty easy to understand. After all, showing up to defend a record like Doug's is a pretty tall order. Since taking office, Doug has voted with the House leadership over 90% of the time. Doug voted for Boehner for Speaker twice. He voted to spy on you, to bail out Wall Street banks in advance of the next crisis, to train Islamic radicals to take down foreign governments that pose no threat. Doug voted for the Omnibus, voted to fund every Title X Planned Parenthood appropriation, and then has the nerve to try to sell you that he did not vote to fund abortion. If you want a representative who will work tirelessly to undo every wrong Doug Collins has done against the will of the 9th District, vote for Mike Scoopine, a proven leader protecting the U.S. Constitution.
It's Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
In 2015, our Gilmer County Probate Court heard over 1,300 criminal cases, 250 estate and guardianship matters, and probated or administered 110 plus wills. Those are very serious issues, and experience matters. You know, we talked about the fact that every county with more than 96,000 people has a licensed attorney as their probate judge. The state requires it. They don't hear different cases. They don't hear different matters, and I don't believe that the due process you receive when you go to the probate court should be based off the county you live in. You want to have a judge who's been there, who's been on the other side of the bench, who's argued that, who knows it, and who can help you. Because compassion isn't always just about being able to listen, but it's being able to do something when you do listen. Experience matters, and I will use my experience in my private practice, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in 2 judges' chambers for the people of Gilmer County.
With early voting starting May the 2nd and the primary beginning on May the 24th, you'll be voting to elect leaders to several offices here in Fannin County. When it comes to the Chief Magistrate, you need someone that demonstrates honesty, integrity, and experience. Since being appointed by the Superior Court judges, I've made it my passion to uphold the same values and principles as the Honorable Judge before me. Whether it is answering the call when our community needed me or operating under budget during my term as Chief Magistrate, it's clear that throughout my 11 years of experience, I have always had Fannin County's best interests at heart. So this May, vote for the right choice. Vote for honesty, integrity, and experience. Vote to keep Sherry Walker.
Welcome back to North Georgia's only live online morning news show, The Morning Report. I'm Kevin Hensley. WhitePath FabTech Incorporated announced yesterday that it will be acquired by Electrical Components International Incorporated. ECI is headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri, employs 15,000 people worldwide, and has 13 manufacturing facilities across 7 countries. ECI will continue to operate WhitePath under its current name and its current locations. WhitePath and its employees will play a strategic role within ECI as it looks to grow the WhitePath business with both current customers of ECI and WhitePath. WhitePath opened its first facility on Boardtown Road in Ellijay in November of 1989. WhitePath began with 3 employees and now employs approximately 400 people worldwide, including 250 of those in Georgia. Last Saturday, friends and family gathered on the corner of United States Highway 76 and Georgia Highway 60 in Morganton to honor Barbara Stevens, the former mayor of Morganton. The occasion was naming the piece of 60 that goes through Morganton the Barbara Stevens Memorial Highway. Look at the article, Morganton Honors Barbara Stevens, on Fetcher News' Fannin County page to see pictures from the event. Truett McConnell College celebrated several milestones at the school's commencement Saturday, including officially changing their name to Truett McConnell University. The school announced the change on the same day they celebrated their 30th anniversary and graduated their first master's degree student. The school's Board of Trustees approved the name change last October with plans to add several graduate and undergraduate programs. Ben Garrison graduated with the recently added master's program in Arts of Theology. The school also plans to add master's programs in biology, business administration, arts and missions, and arts in education. A standing room only crowd elbowed its way into the Roy Ash Jr. Community Building Monday night for the Candidate Forum hosted by White County News and WRWH Radio on the final week before the May 24th general primary election. The 3 contested races in White County this year are the Board of Education chairman's race between incumbent Kendall Brock Hunter and Missy Gerard, Sheriff Neil Walden and challenger Aaron Autry, and Board of Commissioner race between Commissioner Craig Bryant and Sean Henderson. The biggest surprise of the evening was that neither school board candidate was asked about the federal guideline issued last week by the Obama Justice and Education Departments that directed school systems to allow transgender students to use bathrooms and dressing rooms that are consistent with their gender identity. The guideline does not carry the force of law, but administration officials have hinted that school systems that fail to comply could lose millions of dollars in federal funding. After the forum, Fetcher News caught up with the 2 candidates for an exclusive interview. We asked them where each of them stood on the issue. Both were adamant that this is a local issue and that the federal government should butt out. And speaking of election coverage, we do have the very best for you right here on FetchYourNews.com. To stay tuned into the latest updates from around our area and, of course, nationwide, click on our special button on our website titled Election 2016. When we come back here on the Morning Report, we will take a look at our community calendar. Stay tuned.
Truck Month is back at your new Days Chevrolet in Jasper with savings up to $8,000 off MSRP. Right now, get a roomy new Chevy Equinox for just $23,200, or get Days max discount on a new Silverado Crew Cab, just $31,900, plus instant easy credit with Days Fast Track Credit Center. But these Truck Month savings won't last long. Get to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where Chevy cars and trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Only Pizza Hut delivers 2 medium pizzas any way you want for just $6.99 each. Get any 2 freshly made pizzas with high quality, fresh ingredients and sauce made with California vine ripened tomatoes. Now get your favorite specialty recipes like meat lovers, backyard barbecue chicken, or 5-pepper pepperoni. So you never have to compromise with any quality toppings, any crust, any specialty. Anything you want on any 2 medium pizzas, just $6.99 each. Only at Pizza Hut.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Switch and save at Shattenkirk Ford. Find quality pre-owned trucks under $20,000 and not just Fords. We have all the best makes and models. Shop the best selection of certified pre-owned Fords in the area. Switch today and shop our network of over 500 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. We'll even deliver it to you. Plus, every vehicle sold comes with Shattenkirk Customer Care, which offers you extra protection for no extra charge. Make the switch to Shattenkirk Ford in Jasper. Online at ShattenkirkFordJasper.com.
Welcome back to the Morning Report. I'm Kevin Hensley. This Thursday will see the Board of Education's regular session for the month of May after Gilmer County's Monday work session. The meeting will be held at the Gilmer County Board of Education Administration Building at 5:30 p.m. Now, to find meeting announcements with agendas, be sure to go to fetchyournews.com, and in your respective county under the news section, you will find the legal notice section. Join the Gilmer County Chamber of Commerce in welcoming its new members, Georgian Lighting Gallery Incorporated, and celebrate their open house at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. The event will be located at the gallery, which is at 2331 Old Highway 5 South in Ellijay. It's time again for the Gilmer Arts free monthly live music event, Acoustic Blends. Bring your instrument, family, and friends, and join in on the open mic format, which offers an opportunity for musicians of all levels to develop and showcase their talents on stage. It is held at the Gilmer Arts and Heritage Association, 207 Dalton Street in Ellijay, and it will be this Friday at 7 p.m. A pair of shows are coming to the Rollins Planetarium at Young Harris College. Starting this weekend, the show will be presented next Friday, May 27th, June 17th, and then again July 22nd and 29th, all show times 8 p.m. The pairing of shows provides an intriguing overview of the Sun-Earth environment. The first show, called Solar Quest, demonstrates how Sun and Earth are interconnected using high-quality animations to display solar surface features and events. Discover how space weather affects us and how Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field protect life on our planet. The second show, Aurora Storm, is an enthralling scientific and cultural exploration of the Aurora Borealis. Travel to Alaska to witness the mesmerizing dance of the Northern Lights and learn what they mean to scientists and the inhabitants of the polar regions. Discover the causes of the aurorae and how humans who live beneath the shimmering light are inspired by what they see. And tickets are available in advance at yhc.edu or at the door at Rollins Planetarium 30 minutes prior to the show. The Garden Club of Ellijay is holding its annual planning Saturday from 8:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. Choose from a wide assortment of native plants, perennials, shrubs, and container plants for your house or garden to not only highlight your home, but to highlight Ellijay as well in support of the local club. The June Driver's Education course in Lumpkin County will take place June the 6th through the 10th. If you have not yet done so, please contact Cheyenne Thornton to confirm your spot in the course at 706-482-2629 or via email at cheyenne.thornton@lumpkincounty.gov. Gilmer County foster parents have came together in hopes of raising funds for the children in Gilmer foster care by making a donation to cast your vote for your favorite nominee to Kiss a Pig. By making a donation, you are giving kids opportunities to do things they otherwise would not get to do. Donations help send foster kids to summer camps, provide better care, prom dresses, host events and field trips, and so much more. The Pig Kissing Contest will bring our community leaders together in a fun way to help raise funds at the same time. Several people within Gilmer County have already been nominated to be the pig kissing victim, including Josh Teague, Heather Simmons, Clint Waldrop, Brad Simmons, Stacy Nicholson, Susan Keener, John Reese, Tiffany Paschal, and Andrew Lohman. The winner will be selected by who raises the most money. Now, the votes are being accepted via donations on PayPal or a cash drop-off. To cast your vote, you can simply send them whatever donating amount that you want to and a note for the nominee that your donation is voting for. The nominee, of course, with the most money will be kissing the handsome pig at a public event to be held next month. For more information, you can check out their Facebook page, Gilmer Foster Care Fundraisers. And as always, be sure to visit FetchYourNews.com to stay tuned into a local calendar of events in your county. And if you have any announcements you would like to submit to us about an upcoming event, our email address again here at the Morning Report is show@FetchYourNews.com. When we return, the Clear Creek softball team is currently conducting tryouts, plus a friendly selection of scholarship signings and year-end award banquets coverage is also coming your way after the break.
Doug Collins can't defend his own record. What does he do? He tries to divert our attention from his record, and he's diverting it onto Paul Brown. He is refusing to stand up and talk to us about his record. He wants to talk to us about Windstream. Any congressman that's sitting up there is going to try to help the people with their issues with Windstream. Any congressman sitting up there is going to try to help their people when the Corps of Engineers changes the rules on pulling water out to water your grass. Any congressman will do that. But will any congressman go up there and vote against omnibus bill? Will any congressman go up there and stand for the 9th District instead of standing for Washington? Will any congressman go up there and tell Washington what the 9th District wants instead of coming back here and telling us why Washington has to have his way? I'll tell you, no, not just any congressman will. Let Doug Collins come back and sit down and get out of our hair.
This is Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
Trust. Round here, we trust people who get things done. Like our state representative, David Ralston. He's cut taxes and balanced the state budget every year. And Ralston delivers new roads, new jobs, a new university, and the toughest immigration laws in America. Those Washington guys talk big, but never deliver. Round here, we trust David Ralston. Ralston gets it done.
Doug Collins has been a bad representative for the 9th District.
How bad is it?
Doug is such a bad representative that he won't even represent himself against his challengers for the 9th District seat. Well, that's pretty easy to understand. After all, showing up to defend a record like Doug's is a pretty tall order. Since taking office, Doug has voted with the House leadership over 90% of the time. Doug voted for Boehner for Speaker twice. He voted to spy on you, to bail out Wall Street banks in advance of the next crisis, to train Islamic radicals to take down foreign governments that pose no threat. Doug voted for the Cromnibus, the Omnibus, voted to fund every Title X Planned Parenthood appropriation, and then has the nerve to try to sell you that he did not vote to fund abortion. If you want a representative who will work tirelessly to undo every wrong Doug Collins has done against the will of the 9th District, vote for Mike Scoopine, a proven leader protecting the U.S. Constitution.
It's Mike Scoopine, and I approve this message.
Paid by Scoopine for Congress.
In 2015, our Gilmer County Probate Court heard over 1,300 criminal cases, 250 estate and guardianship matters, and probated or administered 110 plus wills. Those are very serious issues, and experience matters. We talked about the fact that every county with more than 96,000 people has a licensed attorney as their probate judge. The state requires it. They don't hear different cases. They don't hear different matters, and I don't believe that the due process you receive when you go to the probate court should be based off the county you live in. You want to have a judge who's been there, who's been on the other side of the bench, who's argued that, who knows it, and who can help you. Because compassion isn't always just about being able to listen, but it's being able to do something when you do listen. Experience matters, and I will use my experience in my private practice, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in 2 judges' chambers for the people of Gilmer County.
With early voting starting May the 2nd and the primary beginning on May the 24th, you'll be voting to elect leaders to several offices here in Fannin County. When it comes to the Chief Magistrate, you need someone that demonstrates honesty, integrity, and experience. Since being appointed by the Superior Court judges, I've made it my passion to uphold the same values and principles as the Honorable Judge before me. Whether it is answering the call when our community needed me or operating under budget during my term as Chief Magistrate, it's clear that throughout my 11 years of experience, I have always had Fannin County's best interests at heart. So this May, vote for the right choice. Vote for honesty, integrity, and experience. Vote to keep Sherry Walker.
Welcome back to North Georgia's only live online morning news show, The Morning Report. I'm Kevin Hensley. Over 30 girls have turned out for the Clear Creek Middle School softball tryouts, which are being conducted at Field 5 of the Gilmer County Parks and Recreation Department. Head coach Brittany Parks and assistant coach Josh Fountain returned for their second year as the coaching staff for the Lady Cats, who are looking to bounce back from a third-place finish in the North Georgia Mountain League last season. Parks indicated that following the tryouts, 12 girls will be playing softball for Clear Creek this fall. Dragonette senior Sydney Romaine put her name on the dotted line yesterday to run track for Grinnell University at Pickens High School. Romaine will join the Grinnell Lady Tigers this fall. And for more on that signing, you can visit the Pickens County FetchYourNews.com page. Congratulations go out to Romaine on her accomplishment. Likewise, Fannin Rebels senior Taylor Cheek signed his letter of intent to play college soccer for the Methodist University Lions yesterday afternoon during a ceremony at Fannin County High School. Now, more on this signing will soon be available on FetchYourNews.com. And again, congratulations to Cheek on his achievement. The Clear Creek Middle School baseball team officially concluded its inaugural season last night with an awards banquet at the ETC Pavilion in Ellijay. Every member of the team received participation awards and a signed baseball, while the 8th grade players also received a wooden bat. Special academic awards were given to 6th grader Colton Nunn, 7th grader Jess Buckner, and 8th grader Tyler Wright as well, for all having the highest respective GPAs in their grade. Congratulations to the Bobcats on their accomplishments. The Gilmer High School tennis team concluded its 2016 campaign last night with an awards banquet at El Rey's in East Ellijay. As many of you will recall, the Bobcats tennis team finished the year with a 16-4 record, were the region's runner-up in 7 4A play, and also hosted the first ever home state tennis match in GHS history. Pictured in this photo are the award winners. In the front row left to right are Mary Elizabeth Walker, JV Participation Award, Lauren Cole, Newcomer Award, Hope Boback, Coaches Award, Chancey Davis, Co-Dynamic Duo Award, Callie Malham, Scholar Athlete and Most 6-0 Wins Awards, Allie Davis, Spirit Award, Hannah Thomas, Co-Dynamic Duo Award. In the back row left to right are Dusty Ray, Scholar Athlete and Co-Best Overall Record Awards, Isaac Hensley, Coaches Award, Carter Heiss, Newcomer Award, Cole Edmondson, Co-Doubles Team of the Year Award, Chandler Cantrell, Co-Doubles Team of the Year Award, Riley Heiss, Most 6-0 Wins and Co-Best Overall Record Awards, and Matthew Bruner, Most Improved Player of the Year Award. Now, congratulations to the entire Gilmer tennis team on their accomplishments. The Gilmer Soccer Club will be holding select tryouts for the U13 to 19 age division for the upcoming fall 2016 season on June 7th. For more information, you can visit GilmerSoccerClub.com. Keep a tab on local sports by using the hashtag TeamFYNSports. Now, as the director of Team FYN Sports, please feel free to contact me with any upcoming game announcements, missing information, score updates, and more. My email address is kevin@fetchyournews.com. I'm also looking for anyone that wants to help us grow and expand our coverage within our viewing area. So if you live within one of the 10 counties that we cover and you want to be a sports reporter and you want to be on the sideline for football in August, again, send me an email, kevin@fetchyournews.com. I would love to hear from you, love to have you on board, and remember, we're always looking to spotlight young athletes in a positive manner. After the break, we will look at our Pet of the Week from the Gilmer County Animal Shelter, and we will wrap up this edition of the Morning Report, but first, we'll step out for a word from our sponsors.
My name is John Williamson, and I'm running as a candidate for the Georgia Senate in the 51st District, which includes the counties of Gilmer, Fannin, Union, White, Dawson, Lumpkin, and parts of Pickens and Forsyth counties. I'm a 34-year resident in Gilmer County. I've been married 40 years, have 6 children and 16 grandchildren. My serious interest in politics started several years ago with the co-creation of the local Tea Party of Gilmer County. And I've been attending the Board of Commissioners and Board of Education meetings, so I have an idea of the challenges that we face in rural Georgia. I want to talk to you today about my reasons for running for office. My first reason stems from my belief in the Republican values, the underlying Republican values that we all seem to ascribe to, which is low taxes, small government, fiscal responsibility. I have watched our incumbent, Senator Gooch, and the legislature in Georgia violate these principles over the last 6 years. Our senator ran on this platform that I just described 6 years ago. It has never been challenged, but last year he supported and led the largest tax increase in the state of Georgia. The second reason that I'm running is to provide better representation for our 51st District citizens regarding especially taxation and regulation. I want to use 3 illustrations of how our taxes have been increased effectively in the last few years. The first is the sales tax on our private sales of automobiles. How many of you have sold your automobiles to friends and family over the years, and now you have to pay a tax, 7% every time you do this? The second is the 20% tax penalty that we're paying to get our money back for road projects because we did not vote for the T-Splosh. That cost our county recently $100,000 just to get a road grant back. And third, we have the unfair $5 a night tax on hotels and motels, which is a real hurt to our industry, which really lives on tourism in many of our counties. Well, the third reason is, I promise, transparency and the willingness to admit mistakes in judgment. For instance, I have been interpreted that some of my comments, I guess my opponents have been wrong. For that, I apologize. On the other hand, has our senator ever admitted that perhaps the T-Splosh penalty was a poor idea? What about voting to prevent Georgians from obtaining eyeglasses over the internet? Did this serve his constituents' interests? Could it possibly be related to a campaign contribution by the Georgia Eyeglass Association? What about the need to license lactation consultants? Does grandma really need a license to teach her granddaughter to breastfeed? Aren't you offended when the politicians come back to the districts during elections with checks, road grants, and grants in their hand, posing for photographs? That's what they're supposed to be doing. That's why we elected them. That's their job. And second, that's our money they're bringing back to us. That's our money. Don't be fooled. Now, I have a vision for Georgia that includes solutions to some of our most pressing statewide problems. I want to leave the state in better shape for our grandchildren and their children. For instance, there are welfare and education reforms that have been demonstrated to work in other states, and we can do it here in Georgia. We also need to stop our state from traveling down the road of fiscal irresponsibility by adding such long-term debt. These are some of the issues I'd like to work on to secure the best future for our families in Georgia. I want to represent you. I'll be open to listening to your concerns and working with you in the Atlanta, Georgia Senate. Please check out my website for other issues that you may have questions about. It's Williamson 2016, and call me anytime. I'm John Williamson, and I'm running for the Senate seat in the 51st District to give you a choice and a voice. If I am your choice, I will be your voice in Atlanta. Please vote on May 24th.
Welcome back to the Morning Report. I'm Kevin Hensley. Are Disney movies your secret obsession? Do you eat dessert first when in the privacy of your own home? Do you fantasize about jumping on the bed after you make it? Do people judge you while you're in Walmart shopping in your PJs? You may be a child at heart. Squinty can help you release your inner child to run free. Go ahead, be the you that you were always meant to be. Squinty will love you just the way you are. So blow raspberries at your boss when he asks you to work late tonight. Go directly to the Gilmer County Animal Shelter and adopt Squinty instead. Go ahead and run through your neighbor's sprinkler. Have ice cream with sprinkles for breakfast while watching cartoons. Don't wash behind your ears while you shower and brush your teeth instead with Pop Rocks candy because Squinty doesn't care. Squinty and the Gilmer County Animal Shelter will not be held liable or otherwise responsible for job loss or eviction from your mom's basement. The preceding opinions do not reflect those of the Gilmer County Animal Shelter or its staff. Squinty has had surgery, of course, to correct inverted eyelashes, and they are healing very nicely. So stop by and claim Squinty today at the Gilmer County Animal Shelter, located at 4152 Highway 52 East in Ellijay. Their phone number is 706-635-2166, and they're open to the public Tuesday through Saturday from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. Don't forget, if you see news happening, you can call our 24-hour news tip line at 706-889-9700. Hey, that does it for today's show. We will see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm Kevin Hensley. Thanks for watching.